Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Mech Engineer. Now, since the last episode, I've had an opportunity to both notice a couple of my mistakes in editing and also notice a couple of mistakes that I didn't notice in editing because you noticed it in the episode. Yes, I'm hanging my head in shame. YouTuber blindness caught me, as it will, I'm sure, a few more times before we're done with this game. But let's start with the most egregious one, the one that I feel the most ashamed about because I can't undo it. I'm building a new reactor instead of a new motor. In my defense, they do look a little bit similar at the top. But, and what is a motor but a very, very, very small reactor? Nevertheless, that is kind of a pain because it's going to be 3 days. It should have clued me in when it wasn't the same amount of time, like 2 days, which it would normally have seen. But oh well, that's something that we're going to have to live with. The other one, though, is the marshmallow. And actually, also the shepherd. Now, that one is not something that was noticed before. That's something I was tootling around with off camera. But let's go to engineering. The chief one with marshmallow, I didn't put any ammo mods on it. Very silly of me. Very, very silly indeed. But you know what? The marshmallow did quite well without them anyway. We do now have a new orcs, which is the metal grid. Plus 10% to maximum hit points and safety. Safety is not something we actually really talked about that much, but effectively it's like a percentage decrease to the odds of your pilot being wounded if the cockpit takes damage, I believe. I could be mistaken on exactly how. It might not be a flat percent, but basically, safety increases the safety of the occupant. But that's not what we're going to be popping on there. We are, of course, throwing on the ammo modules. And thank you very, very much to Ambivalent NPC. Also, really love the name. What a fantastic name that is. For pointing out that I had completely forgotten to add the ammo. And a couple of other people afterwards as well. But with that done, we're just going to send the marshmallow back out there. Wow, 48 extra engineers just because I made a silly mistake. But here's the new the paintwork on the shepherd. As and when I will go to some efforts to set up our mechs with proper paint as I get used to their kind of personalities, the way I'm using them, so on and so forth. This will be something that we do from time to time. Do let me know if you've got any particular suggestions for any color schemes for our mechs, and I will see what I can do. It does take me a little bit of time to do, though. Right, so we're going to just pop that one back out there because I literally only brought you back just to see that, though. Before we go, we do have one new cabin. Now, one thing I haven't really showcased is when there are specific stats and you want to sort by them, you can just click this here. Energy isn't really useful for a cabin. Control might be something you care about, but in this case, we're looking for safety. Since control is much the same, for an extra 2 weight though, but we're going to make sure that our pilot is very safe in the Shepherd. Now, that is going to require that I redline the reactor a little bit more on a couple of these, but I think that should be okay. Now then, let's send you. Well, actually, before we send you out, let's go through the checklist. Let's not forget that the checklist is there for a good reason. So, first and foremost, tomorrow we're going to be getting a bunch of new motors and some components. The day after, we're going to get a new cannon and finish research on some new armor, also some specialists. The day after that, we get our new reactor, and then we finish research into Munilon and effectively energy weapons. So, next, we'll head on over to upgrades. We've got one upgrade to use, and presently, do we want to try and increase the main reactor anymore? We can, and I would kind of like it. We're almost at, well, we're at just over 85%, 86.67. It's not that much more to say, but yeah, we're going to go upgrade this, because if we can bring up energy to 100%, that is going to be absolutely huge for us. So there we go. We've invested now. That'll help out a bit. So the next on our list of things to do is we need to think about what missions we're going to be taking part in. Ah, fantastic. This city is, well, we're definitely going here. It is available for us. There's no reason for us not to go for it. That would also just be nasty. I don't particularly want to go there right now. So this is where we're going to be heading. We're going to be going to a new city. Eventually, we are going to want to come back here and try out these points of interest that are pinged on the map here. But that is going to need some significant ability to deal with heat. so with all of that said and done, let's go back to the engineering section. Since we've got the shepherd here, I would like to see where the temperature on our reactor, like where it stabilizes, because as you've seen, as the reactor gets hotter, you get more bang for buck out of your cooling. Where will this stop? Now we need to bring this up to about 29 degrees. There we go. And at this temperature, we are just going to naturally gain more and more heat, but as you can see, it's starting to balance out there. Looks like it'll probably stop somewhere in the region of 300, so that is absolutely fine, and all of our engines are of the same make, so they'll all be around there. That's where they're going to balance. Now this actually matters later on, because there's going to come a time when there's not much we're going to be able to do. If we're fielding in a hot location, we've got energy weapons, being there is going to just warm us up, and we're going to have to account for the fact that every time we shoot, our energy weapons are going to be generating heat. The nice thing about ballistics is they don't produce heat except when they're reloading, so you could also try and balance it for that, but I think with energy weapons just being a constant application of heat, it's easier to balance your reactor against that sort of thing. So we are going to want to do some thorough testing when we're starting to fight in hot locations, especially when we're fighting with hot mechs, and actually try to see, look, you know, firing this thing flat out, will it eventually stabilize below the overheat threshold? It isn't as simple of a thing to decide outside of that, but this should be fine. I imagine even with reloading, we'll have enough headroom. We should be okay. That being said, I guess we could find out, though the shepherd is not the best one to test with this, but I'm just going to guesstimate it this time. Namely, I think we're going to be able to get in and out of this place before having too much trouble for us. So we're going to bank on being able to finish this one quickly, but that does mean that we're going to want to be fairly aggressive. Right, Encrypt, you're coming with Dig Rig. That is a given. Which of our captains are we taking out? Who's going to be in the Shepherd with its fresh new paint job? I think Phoenix, you are going to be doing this one. Mini Murgle, you can sit this one out for now. So, with Phoenix coming with us, let's make sure that Phoenix is selected and find a good group. Now, we've got actually not that great of a scenario with Phoenix, actually. But okay, well, we'll bring along Bicklow. You can be in Marshmallow. We will bring in Synthetic Samurai as well. Sure, since you're almost ready to level up. I don't think bringing Shellcracker again into such close quarters is going to be a wise move. I think we could take Winterblade. You can come in Mr. Pink there. Okay, not too bad at all. Right, let's designate our target. We're going to have 5 nests, 2 Brukers, and this should give us another tip. And if we're lucky, it'll be over here, so we'll be able to pick up both parts of the rocket when we get there. Okay, so let's go ahead, set this up. I want the Shepherd, of course, to be firing on the ovum, so let's set you up. Are we really going to focus on the Brukers? I think so, but I'm going to have Mr. Brown and Mr. Pink focusing on the Brukers this time. There we go. And everyone else, we will have Marshmallow and indeed the Dig Rig just focusing on the Operarius. And with that, let's set out. It's 125 Skalaknit and 165 Bjorn, and I think this should be good. But once again, we've got to navigate the city blocks, which is never that fun, if I'm perfectly honest. So the Dig Rig does make it a lot easier than it would be otherwise. Right, okay, so first and foremost, we want Wassid Camry. We've got 1 nest here. We've got a Brucus over there. 2 nests on that side. That's actually good for us. We'll be able to clear those out fairly easily. 1, 2 over there. Actually, this is not too bad, and having that turret right there active for us would be great. But we could just tunnel straight up and go straight for the Columbra. That wouldn't be a bad one either. Alright, let's move out, get into position, take on that nest as quickly as you can. We will deal with the Abrucus in a bit. Let's head down on this side, because we'll get a good view of that nest there fairly quickly. Now, as long as we're not actually engaging anything, time will speed up, which makes things a lot easier for us. There we go. What on earth was that noise there, though? What just happened there? Let me quickly come out of here. Just make sure everyone is okay. Yeah, looks like everyone is okay for now. That's all right. And I don't like hearing weird noises. New sounds are never a good thing on a mission when I'm not expecting them. There we go. That should be wiped out fairly quickly. Let's continue moving up. Keep close to that thing. There we go. Nicely done. And at this point, we can probably just move straight up and get a good sight on the nest there. Now, we've activated the other nests due to proximity, but if we can get over to the turret here and activate it, it should be able to hold this area for us. So with that done, let's go... Honestly, I think if we go over here, we're going to have the Brucus suddenly taking quite a lot of attention. Instead, we're going to go up here. Let's just make sure that that sunspot is not coming our way, please, and indeed, thank you. There we go. Unfortunately, the Brucus are now in a position where they are going to be drawing quite a lot of my attention. So let's just push forward. Let's be aggressive. Try and take out the Brucus, the nest, as quickly as we're able to. Move on down this way. There we go. Keep away from the deadly laser, both the sun and the Columbra, if we can. And there we are, actually. Very nicely done. Very nicely done. If we move into this position, we should get a good sightline on you. Now, a couple of folks have actually been asking whether we can just get under its detection range, and this is something I would like to know myself. So you know what? We're going to for science this. In this particular instance, we're going to come back out of full screen. We're going to switch over, so I've only got the dig rig. I would very much like to know if the dig rig alone can just get up right next to this and be inside its range and just attack. And so for this reason alone, I'm going to move straight up there. Can you get right in close? Can you get on top of it and just engage it with melee? Yeah, it looks like it can't see. It has a minimum range of detection, which is kind of amazing, honestly. Okay, so a melee attack on the Columbra is absolutely viable. And I think that is absolutely fantastic. Okay, so that may be one way of us doing it. Just sending in our melee bot just to get under its nose and just wail on it with the drill. That would be fantastic way of taking it down. Right, with that done, Synthetic Samurai is leveled up, Winterblade and Bicklow have leveled up. Encrypt is, of course, already a decently high level. Let's have a watch. Disobeying orders, very much lower this time, Phoenix Talia. Thank you very much. 7.3 there, 10. We've got 6.3. These are much lower numbers than when Mini Murgle is in charge. One day we will make that a little bit better, but that'll do. Alright, let's go over to the pilots there. Let's get everyone back through here. We're going to have a couple of levels to hand out, which I'm actually quite excited about. But first and foremost, let's make sure that the people who are in hospital are the ones who need to be there. Synthetic Samurai. Well, I'm not looking to set up a second tank right now, but maybe having someone else who can pilot the dig rig wouldn't be a terrible idea, or maybe even have a second dig rig wouldn't be a terrible idea. Still, if I've not built for it, then this is probably not the right one to go with right now, and we will definitely get a benefit from having increased accuracy. So we're going to go ahead with that one. However, you've only got 51 vitality, and your stress resistance could do with an improvement. Encrypt as well. Let's get you across there. Then we're going to look for the CBS. Bicklow over here, you're going to get an increase to your accuracy. There you are. And you're going to go in for training for a little while. 42 being the lowest CBS is not actually that bad. I would say once all of them are above 50, I will start looking for people's reactions and start basing it on that, and then gradually we are going to get everyone up to a high level. Now, you may have already noticed, we've got a clone. Yes, pilots, you see, I don't know, perhaps we just don't have that many people who are skilled enough to be mech pilots, so it's faster for us to grow new people who are, not the original. I mean, I guess you could say that you're growing, anyway, it might just be faster to clone them, maybe with some of their innate characteristics preserved in the cloning process. I don't know why this is what we're doing, but it is what we're doing. Like, I'm a good AI, I tell you. There is nothing sus about this AI overlord. I mean AI servant. We are also going to go with Winterblade having that as well. There we are. Nice and easy. Right, next up, we want research and indeed production. Now, for research, we've got 135 people, which is glorious. But let's have a look at what we've got down here. We have now got access to research the plate. New mech, 3 guns, has an innate 1 armor, 26 impact resistance, 20 heat resistance, an old but cheap and effective combat model of the mech. It was popular in the war against the Separatists on Deimos. Fair enough, we are absolutely going to go for that one. I don't even need to think about it. We definitely need more mechs. Gary the Gammerid suggested that this is probably, based on the icon alone, the drone, and that's a reasonable one. Depending on how long this one takes to research and how much staff, we might just check that out, and it does seem to be a reasonable assumption. Either that or this one. Drones may either be a super late game tech or well, kind of early mid game, I suppose. The other option though was armor, layer armor instead of other modules. Not really sure what that would be, but that actually only takes 25 staff, so might not be the worst one to go for here. That's going to be 2 days for 20 staff, and we are 1 day through it. This is 3 days, and we're 1 day through it, so if I were to pick this up, then we would probably get our peeps back about the same time we got this, and sure, okay, I'm willing to assign 25 scientists to this. Sure, let's go ahead. That leaves us with 10, and I don't believe there is anything that we can do with 10 scientists, sad to say. Right, well, we've got 122 engineers just on standby, and, well, we're going to need 150. We'll get 60 back from this to build a new mech here. It'll take me 4 days to finish it, which will be just around the same time that we get done on the research on the new mech type. And we'll get a copy of that, so maybe we're going to hold off on getting this one ready. I'm not sure we're going to need it. Instead, I could invest all of that into getting 4 more motors this time, very specifically, and I think that might be wise. Let me just double check how many components we have, though. Components 207. I'm going to say that's not enough. I would like at least 1 more batch of components, because it's going to take quite a while to do, and then we can sink the rest of the engineers into motors. Okay, that's not too bad, because we're going to get a bunch of engineers back in just a moment, so I'm not too worried about that one. Alright then, let's head back to the mission area and see what it is that we have unlocked. Okay, well, I mean, it's not quite what I wanted it to be, but it is on the right side of the globe where I wanted it to be, so I'll take that one, I suppose. Now, we've expanded this out a little bit. We know there must be one there. We know that one has to be it, so there can't be anything around here, so that's fine. How about over here? We know that that one can't be, and this one can't be, so this one has to be a nest. That one has to be a nest over there. That one has to be a nest. So we've uncovered 1 more nest, and that's good enough as it is. We've got 5 of the nests uncovered so far, and that's actually pretty good, I would say. Now, moving the city. If we move up, the only place for us to go is the water. Even if we move over there, I'm going to have to fight my way through the water regardless. So I don't actually mind the idea of moving up in this direction. I don't particularly want to move any further south because it's going to get increasingly warm, and we are really not in a position to really make good choices in our missions with that. Plus, if we end up fighting there, we'll get some more Scalagnit as well, which I think would be quite useful. So with that said, we're actually moving back to our original tile. That's fair enough. Sometimes you are going to kind of meander hither and yon, back and forth. It's not something you can really avoid completely. Alright, with that one done then, that's the last item on our checklist. So let's go ahead and pass the next day. Okay, we've got 3 motors, some components. We are getting 2 new researchers will be ready in very short order, and actually I miscalculated that, but we are still going to get those 2 researchers in the right time, so that's fine. We're still going to be getting a lot of scientists released to us. We did go down in our stores of materials. It is a bit of a shame, but city energy, we are actually improving that. We've now got 100% availability of energy. Consumer goods is, it's okay. Food supply has gone down a little bit though, which is a bit of a problem. We want to probably focus on that one for now. But the next step, of course, is the upgrade. So energy, we're not going to worry about. What's the next level? It is food supply. So with that in mind, let's have a look at you. I believe you need to be built up from this one. This will actually help out wounded humans, which isn't a terrible one. This is going to give a lot of food in one go. So we're probably going to be investing a fair bit down here. Now, it was pointed out that I have kind of skipped over I believe it was down here, the Waste and Minerals Recycling Center. Upgrading this will give us more materials every day, which is certainly not something to sniff at. But I feel that our other, like, we're so close with food supply and consumer goods. This would improve consumer goods, though, to be fair. But I would like to get them up to the sort of 100% before I start focusing on other things around the place. This would help a little bit in fielding our mechs, or not losing materials, certainly. But there are other options as well. For example, if we find the repair bay, the cost of repairing our mechs, the ammunition factory, which would reduce the cost of the ammo that we're sending them out with. There are other ways that you can improve. There are lots of different kind of ways that you can prioritize not losing materials. But right now, my focus is going to be on getting our food supply up and running, because having 2 of them at 100% satisfaction is going to be a big help for us. So if we have a look at this one, affects the number of new specialists arriving every week. Certainly not a bad thing. This will increase energy, this will improve wounded humans, and it will, as with every district, improve at the rate that we're repairing the city, or slow the rate that we're damaging the city, if you like. Right, let's have a look at our missions. That one would have actually been okay to go to, and now this one is the worst one. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Sometimes it feels like, but okay, we can have a look around as well. There are other places. We are, of course, going to want to try and get out on a couple of missions. Though, interestingly, based on the position of the nest, and this, as far as I can tell, is completely procedural. Yeah, we aren't getting across to this side of Europe by going this route. We would have to go so far around, because you can't move the city through a nest. You have to clear the nest, and I don't even know what would be involved in doing that. It is scary, and we can't go over the mountains, so we would probably have to go down through the hottest path, even perhaps through a volcano, which doesn't even really sound that much less scary than going through a nest. So I think heading out in this direction is the wisest thing to do. But we're going to be going on a mission down here. It's 32 degrees. Based on where our reactors were kind of leveling out, I think we should be okay with this one. Right, let's pull everyone off. There we go, and decide who we're sending out. Of course, we're sending out Mini Murgle. Your stats are actually getting really nice. Vitality is quite low, but reactions are good. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with where your stats are as a whole. And who else are we taking out with you? Let's have a gander down here. Anyone who's below 3 is now my priority for taking out. So Isham is coming out. You've not got any relationship with Mini Murgle right now. Let me just double check what this map is like. It's quite open, so we can probably bring Shellcracker. In fact, that probably means that we could bring everyone with us. Is there someone else I would like to send someone? We could perhaps run... Oh, my lord, that's a bit of an interesting one. We could run 2 missions if we really wanted to. We've got 6 mechs. We could run 2 underpowered lances, and actually that brings me back to a couple of comments that I had. So Meany left a very well-written argument in favor of continuing to use the term lance even for groups larger or smaller than 4, which lined up perfectly with another comment from Chris Woodend, or Woodend, I apologize if I misspoke your name there. They pointed out that it wasn't at all uncommon in Battletech to hear of a reinforced lance of more than 4, so 5 mechs. So we'll likely just move forward calling them lances, whatever the number is, within reason. But I did want to take a moment to give a really hearty thank you to everyone who weighed in with the specific terms used throughout Battletech lore by the different factions. It was actually really, really cool to read through all of those comments, so thank you very much for that. Now, the other thing with taking out Shellcracker, there was another comment, and this one was by that one guy who says stuff. Again, another amazing name. I'm loving them. They suggested disabling Shellcracker's weapon until the whole lance is in a position to engage a Brucus, as that may stop a couple of errant rockets, because right now Shellcracker will engage from an extreme distance. And it might just plink the Brucus a couple of times and cause it to decide to flee, long before the lance as a whole is in a kind of a position to mount an effective pursuit and extermination. So by disabling the Shellcracker's weapon system when it can see a Brucus, if I'm not ready to chase that Brucus down, we might be able to ensure that we can take all of them out. And I think that's a really, really good idea. But speaking about that, and in fact, with the Brucus in question, let's go ahead and grab who would be our best person there. Let's find someone who's got a really good relationship. Yeah, you know what? Soundsphere, you've got an amazing relationship with Mini Murgle. Let's get the 3 of you. You're going to be heading out on this one. Oh, not that one. This mission over here. I think that one should be good, and we'll see how this goes. We've got a good weapon for taking on nests. We've got a decent weapon for taking on hordes, and we've of course got a flame rocket for taking on distant threats as well. So this is going to be a bit of a change. This is the first time I've actually run with less than 4 mechs, so I'm a little bit nervous about it. Not going to lie, but well, this is how we find out. So, let's pop you back to the regular. Isham, you're going to be taking care of that with the Mr. Brown. Shepard, of course, you're going to be taking out the nest themselves. And Shellcracker, your priority target, will be the Brucus. Okay, wish us luck. Okay, let's have a look at what we've got. Oh, actually, this one's very open. I don't mind this at all. We've got a couple of nests over there that are going to be a problem. That Brucus is right next to us, so we should be able to finish you off and then move on to this one. I really don't want to have to disable my the Shellcracker if I don't need to. I would like to just get in here and take this Brucus out now before it causes me trouble, and the other one as well, please and thank you. Let's keep up the pressure. Let's move through. Oh, I think we just took a little bit of damage there. Yeah, it deployed its turrets there. That is going to be a little bit of an issue. Never mind, we've got rid of it. That is fine. Okay, let's get down here. We have taken a little bit of damage. Let's just focus on that for a moment. Let's see. Yeah, everyone's taken a bit of armor damage. I'm going to need to play a little bit more defensively here, I think. But we can manage that, I think, here. I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem. Let's pull our the Shellcracker back so it can properly engage from afar. There we go. They are getting quite close, though. We lack the kind of elimination power that we would really want to be able to take on these large hordes with only 3 people. But it isn't terrible. We have removed one, so if we can just get over here, get into a position where we can engage slowly, then that's going to be much better for us. Every now and then I am going to check back. You'll see little red pips at the top here to indicate kind of more substantial systems damage, and that's the main one that we want to avoid. Let's just scooch over here so that Shepard has a good sight on the nest there. There we go, that's fine. Unfortunately, the shard cannon isn't going to engage from this range. Not properly, anyway. I could scooch a little bit closer, I guess. We are getting artillery from enemy bases, it seems, but that should be alright. There we go, another nest down. Very, very nice. We could probably approach and engage this nest from about here, I would say. From there, Shepherd and Shellcracker should both have a good sight line on this nest. We really do want to take that out before we do anything else. And then we've just got the shard cannon engaging from this distance. Though, honestly, it probably shouldn't be. That shard cannon should only be engaging from a distance that it can actually engage, actually do damage to the target. So I'm a little bit uncertain about why that's engaging from so far away. I would probably prefer it if it did not, if I'm perfectly honest. Ooh, did someone just take some damage there? Did you launch a rocket into a wall while you were passing by it, Soundsphere? I swear, you've got to keep a close eye on these rocket-equipped mechs. They are very, very prone to deciding that they just want to shoot the wall that they stood right next to. Or that someone else in the Lancer stood right next to. As long as someone is next to a wall, they seem to want to shoot it. And I'm not okay with this, unsurprisingly. It's just an approach. At this point, we don't need to be that cautious because all of the enemy are going to approach from the same direction. But we can still just let our rocket launchers engage. Now, it is trying to run away, but the Ovum are blind. They don't know where they're running. They're just trying to get away from the damage. So positioning yourself in such a way that the away from the damage is into a wall just means that they can't actually get away from you. This is actually a good engagement range for us. We can easily remove this. And again, the temps on our mechs, actually pretty solid, I must say. Pretty solid. We're going to have some unwanted guests here in a moment, which I'm not super okay with, but that's alright, I guess. Let's move down so that Shepherd can get a proper shot there, because honestly, the Shepherd shots with a line like this is just going to completely remove it. There we are. Perfect. Right. At this stage, we're going to pause, and I'm going to have the Lance move up and straight in. They should chase this, and so we shouldn't have to worry too much about it. We'll be right behind it. But once we have entered the area of this shield, Shellcracker should be clear to engage. You may notice that the rocket equipped never engage through the shield. But they can sometimes engage from within, as long as their minimum engagement range is all right with it. You're going to need to kill this now before it melts your shield. Oh, wow, that got a little bit close. But there we are, not too terribly bad. We are going to have to play much more defensively, though, with an understrength lance when we're taking on these missions. But against the Operarius, that wasn't too bad. And honestly, those are good returns on investment. The amount of resources we just brought back from that with only sending 3 people, yeah, I like that, actually. And you know what? I like it so much, everyone gets a medal for that one. That was the first deployment of an underpowered lance, and I want to commemorate the occasion. You all did fantastically well. There you go. A rare dispensary of medals. Ooh, who is... Was that really you? No. I knew it couldn't have been Mini Murgle disobeying orders. Never going to happen. Soundsphere, 9.12 seconds, 17.47 on issue. Oof. Okay, well, fair enough. Let's continue with that one. Let's hit what the repair costs are. 114. I think we can stretch to that. That is not terrible. Right, let's get all 3 of you down here. There we go. And we still need to deploy a new group. So, now here's the problem. I don't have a commander mech for Phoenix. Phoenix is just going to have to slum it in Mr. Pink, I'm afraid. I am so terribly sorry. I should have thought about this. Oh, well. Who else can we bring up? We've got Bob and we've got Zed. We've also got Clone Zero, but Clone Zero is going to have to be without a name for a little bit longer. But I need to know who we're fighting alongside of, or should I even do that, considering we're sending an underpowered... No, we're not going to send both of them out. We're going to choose one. Bob it is. Let's find out what Bob's true name is. Everyone, please say a warm welcome to Ravian. Let's find out a little bit more about you, Ravian. DTK Gaming commented that you can right-click on a pilot's portrait for a bunch of more fluff text. So let's find out, who is Ravian? Ravian, age 29, Stasis 3. Stasis. Mech experience 1,890. Experience. Operating a mining mech, gathering and loading minerals. Operating the LV-232 dual gas chamber miner collector. Best relationship is with Bicklow. Worst relationship is with it tracks the that's amazing. I love it. Number of successful missions, 0. Well, let's try and increase that shot. I just crumpled up your records and threw it away. Wow, what about Phoenix? Let's find out a little bit about Phoenix. Can we even find something out about Phoenix? Yes, we can. Okay, age 35, Stasis 4. Mech experience, 4,990. Experience, basic combat training for station officers. Years of experience in siege operations using combat suits. Detective, reward for capturing the head of the Sphere cult. The Sphere, it's fair. It wasn't Cube, of course. The heretic Sphere cult. Best relationship, Bicklow. Worst relationship, Raven. Oh. Well, look, we're going to work on this, okay, guys? Go team, etc., etc. Who are we bringing out at this point? Let's find someone that you've got a really strong relationship with then to balance things out. I guess that is going to be Bicklow. So, yeah, indeed, Bicklow is the better person there. That said, Bicklow, I know I just said I was going to take you out, but... Dig rig, this is more of an encrypt job, so encrypt piloting the dig rig for our second operation. Now let's have a glance around. Is there anywhere that's a little bit, yeah, I mean, could honestly go down there as well. That's 32, that's 32, and this right here is 0, but it's quite tight. Dig rig would excel in this area, and it's against an enemy that we've already seen the dig rig seems to do really well against, but I think instead we are going to push out down here because that's going to give me a little bit more information on this tile, and I'd like to know what we can expect to see down there. Also, this is very, very open, so might be okay for us. We'll see how this goes. We're not going to have a super long-range mech here. It's all pretty much close quarters, which... I'm not super hot about, but well, we'll find out what we can do. All right, best of luck, everyone. What is the best weapon for taking on the nest? I would say that is not the shard cannon. The shard cannon is going to be for the regular Operarius. The nests, I might not prioritize the Brachus or the Brucus here. I may instead. Marshmallow, or it would either be Marshmallow for the nest or the Brucus. I guess it doesn't matter over much. Dig rig, let's get you in there. You know what? We're not going to prioritize the nest. We're going to prioritize the Brucus. I'm going to let my hubris make the decisions because that's never ever gone wrong in the past, and we're just going to assume that we can overwhelm the nest just by marching down upon them, and we're not going to have to prioritize attacking them at all. Instead, we're just going to prioritize the weenies, and we're going to have our flame equipped mech go for the Brucus. Wish us luck because we probably need a little bit of it. Okay, so let's have a look. Where are our enemies? One Brucus over there, two Brucus over there. Okay, that's actually not too bad. These are very narrow gaps. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Only one nest down here. That's actually good. Right, let's move in. Just be ultra aggressive. Go straight for the Brucus if you can. Get all of that fire down. And as soon as we get an opportunity, go for the other one. Let's march upwards. Of course... our other mech, there we go, both of them already taken care of. Wow, okay. Let's march down this way. Honestly, maybe having the shellcracker is actually not that useful, because having just more bullets on the field seems to be doing a fine job of taking things out. Yeah, we've already removed that nest. That was painfully easy. Do we want to march all the way up here? I kind of think we do. Right, so for that route, we're going to go like this. We're going to move outside of the operation range of this nest as quickly as we can. And as soon as we have... Oh, mind you, we might be in a little bit of trouble with the reloads, but we'll see how that one goes. We're about to reload now. The only one that is... Marshmallow is the only one that reloads that far out. Mainly because Marshmallow just sprays and prays, doesn't really care. Those bullets will eventually lay down a fire field somewhere, and that'll be good enough for me. Right, let's march up. Now, I'm a little bit concerned about having marshmallow firing on the dig rig, because I don't know if the fire is... I mean, is this fire that's going to respect friendly fire? I can't imagine it is. Right, so dig rig is number 3. So I only want the dig rig here. And dig rig, I would like you to clear a path, a wider path for us. Just keep snaking up and then return to the lance. Go, go, go. Everyone else will engage, but the enemy are coming through other areas, so it should be fine. And dig rig itself should easily be able to handle that. There we go. Oh my goodness, dig rig is amazing. Truly, truly fantastic. How did we ever get by without dig rig before? I just don't understand. We're actually going to be a little bit more ballsy with that one as well. Just go straight up, clear this out. If the operarians get close to you, your shotgun will be enough, and honestly, the drill as well. There we go. Doesn't look like you're taking any damage there. Oh man, you didn't finish the job. Oh well, I forgive you. Right, that's good enough. We've got a good avenue of approach here. Let's make our way up through here. Take on that nest first, then we'll start marching back down. But let me have a quick look. Did anyone take any damage yet? No, not even any armor damage yet. Okay, I'm fairly happy with how this group is doing. In fact, I'm very happy with how this group is doing. Maybe I shouldn't be counting my chickens before they hatch. Also, I realize now what that sound was in the last mission that I was a little bit panicked about. It was, of course, the sound of alien artillery dropping in some more operarius swarms. There we go, cleaned out. Now, I think we're going to go through here and back up and out. That way we will avoid the laser there. But I want to take out this nest on the en route. Oh, it looks like dig rig is going to just do this work by themselves. That's fine. You keep on going up there, dig rig. Thank you very much indeed. That actually worked out fantastically. Right, everyone else just follow the laser beam for now. It seems that if I give them a path which involves dig rig having to dig, everyone else seems to stop at that point, which is a bit of an interesting. We're about to get another artillery strike. You know what? I haven't really showcased this at all. Can I do an artillery strike of my own? I wonder. Yeah, I seem to be able to. Sure. Let's pop in our own artillery. We've been building this stuff up and just never using it. So here we go. Say goodbye, operarius. Pop. You know, the only ones who can call in fire support. Alright, let's draw back, though, so we don't get lasered unnecessarily. It looks like we might be about to. No, never mind. Let's get back in there. Now, I'm fairly light on the artillery, just because I feel that it's probably more of a weakness than anything else for me. It's more likely to get us killed than the enemy in some instances, so if I don't need it, why use it? But just to show you can do that, you can toggle between movement mode with B, or Q for artillery mode, or you can use these buttons over there. There we are, we pulled in quite a lot of materials, very happy with that haul. And let's have a look at how disobedient you were. Not bad, Phoenix Talia, actually, not bad at all. Ravian, yeah, okay, I was expecting that. You've got an awful relationship. Wow, Encrypt as well. I guess Encrypt isn't that, doesn't have that good of a relationship, so I suppose I shouldn't be that surprised, but still a little bit surprised. Alright, not a terrible round there. Not a terrible round at all. We've uncovered a little bit more. Now, I know that that is only up there, so there can't be anything down here. So this one, if this is true, there can't be anything here. This one can already see 2. At most, it could see 1 here, here, or here. This one can see 1 there. I'm not sure if this narrows it down anymore. My instinct says that it's going to be here. Because if it's there, then this one needs to see another one. But it could see another 2. Well, no, it would have to see another 2 over there for that to be the case. And this one there would then satisfy these. Yeah, there's too many unknowns over here. Again, I would really love it if there was
not necessarily another marker that specifically says there's nothing here or there is something here, but rather just have 2 types of markers I can place down. Then you can decide on how to use them. Right now, I've decided to use the 1 marker I've got to say there is definitely a nest here. If I had a second marker, then I could choose to use it to designate areas where there's absolutely no possibility of a nest, or ones where there's question marks here, so use your best judgment in this area. I kind of like that, if I'm honest, but we'll see how that goes. Now, on the off chance that we can cross, I could leave the base here, or I could move it down by 1 with the plan of moving across by 1, and that gives me more areas that I'm going to be able to try and engage at. And by the time we get here, we should hopefully have a viable route. So I think that's probably what we're going to be doing. But let's keep doing things in the correct order. That way I'm not going to be likely to forget anything. So first and foremost, hospital time. Vitality at 55. Okay, everyone has got vitality where it needs to be. So now I would like to see stress resistance. Stress resistance on Z is pretty low. You haven't been on a mission yet, Z, so you're going to stay unnamed. But also on Winterblade is pretty bad, so let's get you in there as well. Now for CBS, the worst person we have for CBS is now at 50. That is actually amazing. So now we're going to check out reactions. And reaction at 22 on Clone Zero. Yeah, that's not great. Okay, well, I'll wait for you to... It would be rude to say, hey, stop your eating, go and train. I mean, yeah, I don't know if it's better to train on a full stomach or an empty stomach, frankly. Personally, I think eating after a workout is probably the better course of action, but there we are. It is very interesting to note, though, that the Lance that didn't have the specialized long-range commander and didn't have the rocket pod did by far the better. Now, obviously, you can't understate what an impact the actual environment had, because that was a very favorable environment, I think. It was very nice and open. It just worked for us quite well. But it is something to bear in mind. I think maybe I'm overthinking Shellcrack, and perhaps I should switch over to something else. On that note, how long have we got on the gun? We've only got 1 more day on that, which I'm okay with. I would like to get another 2 motors if I could. Well, just what? Well, 1 more motor would ensure that I can field 2 entire mechs with the new motors, and that might actually be a pretty good idea. So we're going to pop another one of these down, sure. And of course, we are then going to add in some more components. Always keep your components up if possible. So we'll only pop in 1. That gives us 98 engineers. I don't see anything much that we can do in terms of tweaking our mechs right now, though we do have a bunch of engines available, or motors available, so maybe it is time for us to have a look at something. The obvious candidate for this is the Shepherd. Let's bring the Shepherd into the engineering bay, simply because the Shepherd is carrying the most weight. So let's go ahead. Oh my. I am guilty for not noticing what other random gubbins we've been getting from the cities. We've definitely got more reactors than we had before. Got no more mechs. We've got no types of weapons, or at least none that I can see. But we have got quite a few motors. Did that say it anywhere? I just didn't notice it. I feel awfully unobservant. But every time you hit a city, you get some specialists. You can get some bulks of resources. But look at all of these. We have got different types of motors available. Let's have a look at their energy cost. These are electric motors by the looks of it. They consume a lot more energy, but their power is lower now, and their speed. However, whereas what we've got over here, in fact, the easiest way for me to showcase this is just by removing all of these wires. This motor here, when I add a single red wire, we increase our weight allotment by 1. For 5 energy, it increases the weight gain, the weight supported by 1. If I swap this in, this electric motor, now it starts requiring 10 more energy for underperformance, effectively. But if I add one wire to that, it adds a lot of extra weight capacity. It'll be a little bit easier if I show the weight here. So we're getting 55 out of it right now. If I wire it up, we're now getting 66. So that's giving me 11 extra weight for the cost of 5 power. And I can do this up to 3 times. So there we go. We're now up to 77. And again, we're now up to a whopping 88. If you've got the headroom on your reactor to put more power into this, these motors are by far the better kind. But right now, I'm going to be going a little bit more low power where I can. So we're going to be equipping these motors in particular. So let's get those across there. I don't see a need to go for the others. Let's make sure that the power, there we are. So we can carry 240 now on the Shepherd. We're getting to the point where the Shepherd could probably field a second gun if we wanted. And that would be very, very nice indeed. We no longer need this for the extra power because we only needed that in order to run the motor there. So we can replace that with, again, more ammo. The cannon, if we have a look at you, we no longer need to be putting any points into your weight allotment. The 43 is quite within our range at this point. Now, we are hurling these down the way. Increasing the accuracy would probably be worth it. Let's switch you out. I'm just going to bring this in a little bit, just so that we're not throwing these bolts off into infinity when it is going to be bleeding off power a little bit there. But we could invest a little bit more in accuracy. I'm really not sure that we need it, but this is now a pinpoint accurate weapon. We could have a little bit of deviance. At long range, it's going to matter more. It is a bit of an argument to be made for both there. But I think instead we're just going to put that into extra damage so it can do its damage a little bit more aggressively. I like that quite a lot. All right, let's get the Shepherd back in place, get the weapon on board, and see what we're left with. We're left with 40. We could almost field another one of these cannons. And if we look at our production, tomorrow is when we're getting one. Ooh, we might be about to really ramp up the Shepherd's damage potential here. Of course, the other thing we can do is add in some extra armor. That is obviously another option. And given what we've got, we could probably safely afford to do this. And then pop in a weighty strike face as well. We could go for the heaviest strike face if we wanted to. This would give the Shepherd a passive armor of 25. Now, it does give us a lot less room to play with the second cannon. But we do have those motors that we could hook up if we really desperately wanted to. That is very tempting. This is, right now, probably the best setup that we could do in just raw survivability, but I'm really favouring the idea of adding on an extra cannon. So I'm going to just take that away for now, and we're going to just pop in the basic armour. I will put it up to at least 14 passive armor. That seems reasonable. That still gives me 35 to play with, and I can eke out a little bit more if I want to swap out one of the ammos for a battery module, and then I could redline the motors a little bit more. I think that's what we're going to do. So we're not going to tweak the Shepherd any further. We're just going to hang tight there. And tomorrow we're going to be setting up a new gun for the Shepherd, and I think that's going to be absolutely wonderful. We've got no research to do, so we're just going to leave that one as it is. So time for us to turn the clock and pass another day, I think. We're going to unlock 2 new researches, actually, tomorrow, which is going to be quite nice. Right, there we go. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I did do that one, but I didn't move the city. It's always going to be something, because I should have done it. Because in my head, it was like, oh, but I've already addressed this. But I addressed it by saying I would do it later. Never do it later. I know, I just caused a bunch of procrastinators watching the video to just blanch and possibly faint at the idea of not postponing something, but it's true. Right, we got a good healing wave there for peeps. We've got full food supply, full city energy. That is absolutely wonderful to behold. And we got 2 researchers. But looking at the time, I'm afraid we're going to have to wrap this one up. We still managed to run 3 different missions. It's just we did it in less days. That being said, that is actually fairly good, because looking at our current stats of our minerals, that was a really good day. We actually increased our available resources by a lot by running those 2 underpowered lances, so I'm actually pretty happy with that one. But I hope you enjoyed this episode and will be joining me for the next. As ever, I'm always looking forward to any comments and feedback you might have for me down below, and while you're down there, I'm sure St. Algorithmus wouldn't mind if you massage those lovely buttons, but that is going to have to be it for us for today. I look forward to seeing you in the next one, where we will almost certainly be unlocking energy weapons. But until then, and as always, do take care, engineers.